Good morning, good morning, good morning, good people. My name is Don Daniel, founder of Pill Method International, a better way to eliminate debt. And today on our show, we are looking for questions. So if you are in Clubhouse, come to the stage and raise your hand, come to the stage and ask your question or type it in the chat. All right. So I've got some people in here. So say good morning. Tell us where you're from. If you're watching us online, okay, Zoe, I see you in there. Zoe on Clubhouse saying good morning. If you are on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, or YouTube, go ahead and type your question in the chat right now in the comment section. Ask any question you want that has to do with credit or loans, mortgages, 20 year, 30 year, 40 year, interest rates. Should I make a down payment? I'm getting ready to buy a house. What's the best thing to do? The interest rates are so high. What's the best thing to do? Go ahead and ask your questions about credit. I'm getting ready to buy a car. All right. I need to buy a car. My car got totaled. What do I do? How do I get that? How do I get that done? What is the best way? So listen, you might even want to ask, is credit a bad thing? You know, there's some people out there that think that we should be using cash and cash only. So if whatever your question happens to be, even if you have a particular belief and you want to know if your belief is true, go ahead and put that in the chat as well. All right. So Zoe has a question to start things off. She says she's here on Clubhouse, everybody. And I'm going to say good morning to you all on Clubhouse. All right. All right. Clubhouse. Good morning. Good morning to you. All right. Say good morning to everybody. All right. There we go. And Lashana says, good morning, good morning, good morning. All right. She says, Zoe says, what's the best way to tackle the interest rates on a card that has a floating APR? All right. Floating APR. So it's not consistent. The APR is not consistent. First of all, when you look at the interest rate on a credit card, number one, it's not as bad as you think it is. All right, can I give you an example? So somebody, I'm going to put something on the screen here. If you want to see this on YouTube, you want to go ahead and get ready to see how we answer this question about APR, all right, on YouTube. So let me see here. We're going to go ahead and get this new window up. And go to Brett Whistle, BRETWHISSEL.net. And we're going to share this screen. We got Mr. Kurt Nugent on here. Oh, by the way, folks, Mr. Kurt Nugent is going to be on vacation for the month of June. So we're going to be hearing him from time to time. We're going to be taking some time off for the month of June as well. But we are going to be in here from time to time. We're going to hold it down a little bit by ourselves. So if I'm a little slow on the draw getting things up on the screen, forgive me. But, Kurt has taught me well. And you're still going to get good information, good content, and good service. So let's go ahead and share this screen right now. There you go. The entire screen. And boom, there it is. All right. So now we're going to go in here. And so, Miss Zoe, I'm going to share some things about interest rate. So we're going to go in here and look at, let me see, I got a $10,000 credit card. And when you're putting credit cards into Brett Whistle, BRETWHISSEL.net, I use this as a teaching tool. This is not my program, but listen, you guys need to get good at this, especially if you are a real estate agent, if you are a lender and you want to talk to people about interest rates and show them what's really going on with interest rates, man, oh man, what a great teaching tool. So I got $10,000 at 18% interest. All right. And when you're putting this in, you want to put in 240 months as the number of payments, because all credit cards are amortized over 240 months, not 30 years. 240 months is 20 years. So we're going to execute that. Now, here's the first thing we got to understand, Zoe. $10,000 at 18% sounds a lot. 18% APR. That's annual percentage rate. 18% annual percentage rate. So it's 18% a year, not a month. So 18% a year really means 1.5% a month. Okay? So if I'm excuse me, so if I'm handling this and I got 18%, I want to take a look at this. So let me show you what even at 18%, what our first interest payment is. It's $150 a month. $150 a month. That's what it starts out as. Now, the very first month, you don't pay any interest at all. Now, if all I have is a credit card, if all I have is this credit card, I probably want to go ahead and knock this thing out, as soon as I can. And the reason why I love putting money and paying credit cards off, think of your credit card as a savings account. What? What are you talking about, Don? Think of your credit card as a savings account, because right now you're being charged 1.5% a month on your $10,000 balance. But if you have money in the bank, you may be making what? 1/10 of 1% on your money. 1/10 of 1% on your money. Now, LaShonda, but she's saying, what do you mean by that, Don? LaShondra says, what do you mean by treat your credit card as a savings account? Here's what I mean. All right. So let's say in your savings account, you've got some money. All right. And people are saying, if I take money out of my savings account, I don't have it anymore. All right. So let me show you here. I'm going to bring up another screen. I'm going to bring up another one, and we're going to search the word fungible, 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 right? The word fungible. The meaning of fungible is a product or commodity, could be, and that includes money, is replaceable by another identical item. Fungible means interchangeable. All right. So if I have, let's say I have $20,000 in the bank. I got $20,000 in the bank, but I have a $10,000 balance on my credit card. All right. So I like the fact that I have $20,000 in the bank. But if I take $10,000 out of the bank and pay off the credit card, how much money do I have available to spend? I need you guys to answer that question for me. If I have $20,000 in the bank and I take $10,000 out of my bank and place it on the credit card, how much money do I have available to me to spend? Okay. All right. And Zoe Motley says $20,000. You're exactly right. You are exactly right. Okay. You still have $20,000 available to spend. So money sitting in your bank, money sitting on your credit card, treat your credit card like a savings account until it's paid back, because you still have that money available to spend. Now, the difference is this, Zoe. Here's the difference of that. While your money's in the bank, it's making 1/10 of 1%. If you have it in a savings account, if you have it in a checking account, it ain't making nothing. Okay. So if you have it on your credit card, it's like not paying 1.5% a month. And Benjamin Franklin said, a penny saved is a penny earned. When you pay that card off, you get an instant $150 raise. right then and there. And that's just from the interest on the first month that you have to pay interest. Not so what a credit card does, they take what you owe them in interest, and each credit card company has their particular way of handling this, but they add a percentage of what you owe to the minimum interest payment. Okay, there's no rhyme or reason to it. They may take a half, 1%, 1.5%, 2%, whatever it is. They're going to take the interest that you owe that month, and they're going to arbitrarily come up with another percentage of your balance and add it to that. That's going to be your minimum payment per month. All right. So Zoe says, I've got 15,000 at 16% right now. So let's bring that up. We're going to duplicate this. We're going to duplicate this tab. And she says she's got 16,000. All right. 16,000. All right. Let me change that. We're going to go here and put in $16,000. Okay. $16,000 at 16%. 16%. Boom, right there, 16%. And we're going to handle that question. And there it is, $16,000 and 16%. Your first interest payment is $213.33. The first thing I want to know is, do you have any other debt? Do you have a mortgage as well? Zoe, do you have a mortgage as well? Okay. Do you have a mortgage as well? And so let me see what she says here. She says, yes. All right. Tell me a little bit about your mortgage. And I'm going to do another one here. So this is 260,000 at what interest rate? What interest rate? Okay. 260,000 at what interest rate? I want to show you something right now. Oh, this is so good. I'm glad you're asking this question. All right. And if you don't know the exact interest rate, give me something that's close. It doesn't have to be exact for this example. She says 5.87 or 5.78. Let's take the higher one. Okay. Let's take the higher one. 5.87. So we're going to put in let's see here. We're going to duplicate that, and we're going to put in a $260,000 mortgage at 5.87, and I'm assuming it's a 30-year loan, correct, Zoe? All right, so I'm assuming it's a 30-year loan. All right, she says yes. So we're going to put in 5.87%, and that's 30 years, 360 months. Boom, we're going to take that payment out, and here's what it looks like, folks. Here is what it looks like. Here's the payment, $1,537.17. That's just the principal and interest payment. That excludes your taxes and insurance, Zoe. Okay? So here's what most people are not looking at when they're looking at these credit card interest rates. We are taught to hate credit card interest so much that credit cards are evil, and they strike fear into our hearts. And it just, it just brings up so much anxiety that I see 16%, but my mortgage interest rate is so much less. Can I show you something here? All right. So let's just say you had the ability to pay this all off at one time. All right. I'm not saying you do, and I'm not saying you have to, but I want to make this clear to everyone that's watching or listening. All right. That's watching or listening to this. I got 100 and let me see. No, that's 16,000. Okay. Okay. That's 16,000 there. All right. And I've got a mortgage of 200. There it is. 260,000. I need you to see what my first interest payment is on this mortgage. It's $1,271.83. We get so used to making the mortgage payment. Let me see what the interest payment is on after 5 years. Okay. I'm going to go down to line 60. And even after 5 years, it's still $1,183. All right. And 6 years, still over $1,100. All right. Let me go down to 10 years. 10 years on this loan. The interest payment is still $1,062.94. We get so used to paying the mortgage like this, we forget about how much interest we're paying each month. And the reason why I'm bringing this up, folks, is this. If I have the money to pay this credit card off, the financial experts are saying this 16% is eating you alive. You need to get rid of that right now, as soon as we can. And Zoe says, yes, we do. Yes, we do. So this is what we're being told. So if we can get rid of that, okay, let me show you. Here's how much interest you save if you pay that off right now, even though it's fungible, all right, and you get to spend that money anyway, and you get to say, okay, I get my I'm not paying 16%, and let me show you what 16% a month actually looks like. We're going to take 16%, okay, hit the percent key. That's 0.16. We're going to divide that. We're going to divide it by 12. Right? Divide that by 12. All right. That means it's 0.013. Okay. Let's see. One and almost. Let's see. What 1.3? Okay. 0.13% a month. 0.13% a month. See, when you break it down per month, it's really not that bad. Okay. So here's what we're looking at. And I want to make this abundantly clear. If you were able to pay this off right now, you would save $213.33. That's it. You wouldn't have to pay the bank that. But on your mortgage, if you put $16,000 on it, let's say it's brand new, $16,000. I need you to take a look at the cumulative principal here. All right. Cumulative principal. And we're going to scroll down to where we see $16,000 on this mortgage. Look at this. Look at this. Okay. That's 3 years. This is 4 years. Okay. About 4.5 years, you knock off your mortgage, Zoe. 4.5 years, you knock off your mortgage, and you save $64,000. You got to go up one line here on your cumulative interest. $64,000 in interest. Zoe, did you know that? Did you know that? That while we're trying to, the financial experts out there that we're listening to, that have the radio programs, that have the television programs, that have the huge platforms, all of them are telling you the credit card is killing you, when in fact, it is your mortgage that is doing all the financial damage here. So here is my question to you. Would it be okay to pay $213.33 in interest if I could save, it could save me $64,265.11 on my mortgage? Zoe says, wow, wow, wow. Come on, everybody. That is not to say we shouldn't go ahead and knock that out when we can. What if there was a way? What if there was a way to know when to put money on the mortgage and when to put money on the credit card, so that you are saving money over here and paying that credit card off when you can, but you're not completely ignoring the mortgage interest as well? There is a way to do that. We have a computer program that actually helps you to do that. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to pay that off as soon as you can, but you want to do it in a way that makes sense, so that you can save the maximum amount of interest that's mathematically possible, while you're taking your extra money and putting it on the on the mortgage. And how you need to look at this. Make sure you have a budget. Make sure you have a budget. This is what our program does. Not telling you you can't do something. A budget lets you know what you can do. I will repeat that. A budget doesn't tell you what you can't do. A budget tells you what you can do. So you're tracking your spending. You want to know how much money you generally spend on food each month. How much money how much money are you spending on electricity? Or you want to make sure you're tracking your insurance payments. How much money are you spending on gasoline or tolls or public transportation? You want to track your entire budget for the month. How much money are you making? How much money are you spending to pay bills? Okay. And then when you see that and you're tracking it, you know how much money is left over after all the bills are paid. And guess what? Your number one bill is after church or charity. Okay. Watch this. Your number one bill after church or your charity or charity. Watch this. Your number one bill is you, Zoe. Your number one bill is you. How much money do you want to spend on you and your family each month so that you can have a great lifestyle? Okay. Now there's a guy in Tennessee that says, don't worry about that. You listen, eat beans and rice 7 days a week, drive a 30-year-old car, and cut up your credit cards and live like a pauper until you get all the debt paid off. P.I.L.L method says you can live an enhanced lifestyle. All you have to do is plug in how much you want to spend on you each month. And when that money is gone, it's gone for the month. All right. And that way you have a psychological benefit of feeling like you're not just working to pay bills. Okay. That's a killer. If you say to yourself, I'm just working to pay bills, all right, that's no good. All right, so let me go here. I'm looking on the stage, see if anybody raises their hand and wants to come up to the stage. No hands raised. Okay. And if you want to put your questions in the chat, or if you're watching us online, put your question in there. So Zoe, let me finish this up for you. So what we want to take a look at is how much money is left over after all the bills are paid, and put that in your savings account. Okay. You can attack your bills from the savings account. Don't attack it from your regular budget, because that's taking money away from your family, because the bills aren't going to change. So if you try to take money from your budget to pay on the debt, then the only place you can get that is from your family. All right. Even if you're a family of one, it's still your family. Okay. So make sure you have money for yourself. Make sure you have money for yourself, and then put the rest in the savings. And then you can take money from your savings that builds up, and you can every 2 or 3 months take lump sums out of savings, not the whole thing, but lump sums out of savings, and attack that debt. Now, if you have the P.I.L.L method, we would tell you exactly how much to take out of savings, what month to do it in, what day of the month to do it on, and which loan to attack. And we would compute for you your interest savings. So does that answer your question, Miss Zoe? All right. She says, okay, because that is, okay. She says, that's where you are now. All right, good. So does that make sense to you? Did I answer your question? So it doesn't matter even though the interest rate is constantly floating, okay? Don't let that worry you. You have to know what your interest consumption is. What is my interest consumption? How much interest am I paying on all of my debt? I'm paying $200 and some over here, but I'm paying over $1,200 or $1,000 over here. And so where should my attention be? Your attention should be on what is costing you the most interest each month, not the interest rate, but the interest cost. How about that, Ms. Zoe? What do you say? What do you say? Okay. She says, I'm working on getting the pill method now. And thank you so much. It just took, it just looked like so much when the bank is controlling how I pay. You better believe it, girlfriend. When the bank controls how you pay a lot of money. But when you control how you pay, you save a ton of money. Ms. Zoe, thank you very much. Now, Ms. Zoe says she's working on the pill method. Let me tell you how you can do that, ladies and gentlemen. And here's what you need to do. Get a savings and earnings report. Get a savings and earnings report. It is so simple. And it's free. All right, hold on for a second. I got to get a drink of water. Okay, I'm back. So getting a savings and earnings report is free. I'm going to put it at the top of the page here in Clubhouse, my 10K card, ice10k.com, ice10k.com. And so when you go there, you click on ice10k.com, and then you'll see a button that says get a savings and earnings report. Okay, ice, the number 10, the letter K.com. All right, get a savings and earnings report. And you follow all of the directions. Oh, and I'll give you a quick tip. When you put your cell phone number in, because we need to verify that you're not a robot. All right. So put your cell phone number in, but we give you the +1 on that line. Okay. When we give you that +1, then make sure your phone number is right next to the 1. No spaces. No periods, no dashes, no nothing. Just put your phone number in there with absolutely no spaces. And then when you confirm it, we will send you a code as a text message. Just push that confirm once. Wait for the text message. When you get the text message, put it back into the website as in the space provided. All right. Make sure all your information is in there. Your email and your zip code. When you do that, all right, then you click on yes, I want to save. Yes, I want to save. All right. So when you do that, you can look who is here. Look who is here. I can't believe it. Oh, look at listen, I love that PTR. I love that PTR. What are you doing, Miss Bernita?
Hey, Don. Grand Rising, Grand Rising. Well, I actually was just popping in. I'm getting ready to transition into my first appointment, but I was like, I've seen Don so long on Clubhouse. All I can say is tapping with the pill method because it's changing my whole life. And you are getting your financial answers, your questions answered.
Well, thank you. If you have a quick question for us, go ahead and put it out there or put it in the chat, Ms. Renita. But I'm looking forward. Listen, she is on the pill method, folks, and she did it just like this. She filled out a savings and earnings report. She got her results back, and she says, "I love those results. How do we get started?" Okay, but she got the results for free. Right. And so when she says, I can get these results, I can do this and this and this and get this result, she says, I'm in. All right. But listen, but what else does she get? She gets financial coaching. She gets financial coaching so that she can optimize the use of her system and learn a lot of this stuff that we're talking about, the new financial literacy. Oh, man. We get so much support. She gets, not only does she get financial coaching, but we have customer service, live US based customer service, 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. You call the number, somebody answers the phone. It's not email customer service. It's not leave a voicemail and somebody calls you back 3 days later. You call and somebody answers that phone and gives you good information about your program. But when you want some expert advice on how to best use your money, now you call your financial coach, which is also provided by the P.I.L.L method. Oh, there's just so much going on here, ladies and gentlemen.
Don, can I something to that?
Please do.
And actually, no, I was gonna say my PTR is from a fashion show that I was in off of Clubhouse actually back in last summer. But I had just had my first session getting like up on the system. So one of the things about the pill method is that there's an amazing software program, computer program that really works with your numbers to get clear about the steps you're going to take, not only to become debt free, but to also meet other financial goals, which I know one of mine is to become a homeowner. So I'm looking to get rid of my consumer debt, including my student loan that I've had so long, it might as well be a pet, and transition from being a renter to buying. And one of the things that jumped out of that first session of getting my numbers in there and really seeing what was going on, I'm also a business owner. And it became really clear how important it is, even to the extent that I'm like an advocate of keeping your business and your personal expenses separate. It took it to a whole nother level. Like it really pushed me to be able to get really, really clear about not only how I have handled my finances to date, but this is not only going to impact the personal side of my life, but it's also going to positively impact the way I approach my business. So that was just the one thing I wanted to add.
Thank you so much for that, Vernita. We appreciate you coming on stage today and sharing that. But you know, people see me all the time. People see me all the time, and they're wondering, is Don all there is? All right. So when you call that number, did I answer the phone?
No, no, definitely a whole team.
We've got a whole team out there for you, ladies and gentlemen, that will take care of you for the rest of your life. It's one fee for the rest of your life. No other fees involved. Oh, what about that? And we guarantee your results or your money back. Who else guarantees your results or give you your money back? Nobody but us. Okay. So that's what we're going to be doing, folks. So listen, thank you very much, Vernita, for coming in and tell the people right quick who you are and what you do, please.
Absolutely. Always glad to be here. For anyone that I haven't met, my name is Vernita Adele. I'm an anti-racism speaker and strategist, and I simply believe in Black people thriving. So being on this mission to positively impact 10 million Black people across the diaspora to know who we are and to learn to love ourselves, it begins first with learning to love myself and my self-care, and that does include financial self-care. So you can tap in with me on Instagram. Actually, Don, our new e-commerce site is launching for America's Hot Sauce merch. Make sure you tap in with those Black people are America's Hot Sauce tote bags, and more to come. Thank you for letting me share. That's speaking.
All right. How do I find you? How do I find that information?
Absolutely. You can, in my bio, it definitely connects to my Instagram account. You can hit me there. You can also connect with us at americashotsauce.club, americashotsauce.club, like Clubhouse. And with that, you'll also find on that website the article that is the genesis to America's Hot Sauce, where I tapped in and called out systemic racism in corporate America, more specifically Town and Country magazine, and that was published in the Daily Beast at the end of 2020. And part of that article really breaks down the historical exploitation of our Black star power, our influence, style, fashion, music, our hot sauce by white brands to sell more products and services. But it's time for us to now to fully realize the monetary impact of our creative and cultural contributions. And so you can tap into that at americashotsauce.club.
Thank you so much for being here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you heard it. So listen, to finish this up about how to get your savings and earnings report, go ahead and hit that button and get to getting your savings and earnings report. Once you get your savings and earnings report, once you fill out the information, all right, and you click on yes, I want to save, then it will let you into our financial page. You put all your information in, and then someone from my team will give you a call, confirm the information, and tell you your results. If you like your results, then they will set up for you a consultation with one of our members, and you will be able to dive in deep as to not only know the month, day, and year you're going to be debt free and how much interest you're going to save, but you'll get some insights into how the program actually works so that you can actually believe it. Most of our clients are out of debt in an average of 7 years. That's their mortgage, student loans, credit cards, car loans, everything in about 7 years. That's the average. Some are a little more, some are a little less, but that's the average, everyone. So thank you very much for that. So listen, get your savings and earnings report, learn more about it. And while I'm talking here, I'm going to be talking about my book next. Go ahead and put your next questions in the chat or raise your hand, come to the stage and ask your financial question this morning. All right. So get your book, folks, get your P.I.L.L method book by clicking on that same link, ice10k.com, and get your book today. Click on that same link, ice10k.com, get your book today, and then start teaching your children, your grandchildren, your nieces and nephews, along with learning about this yourself, and watch our videos on YouTube. I'm telling you, the combination, if you're new to this, you're not quite ready to get a savings and earnings report, you don't quite trust the information, get the book and watch the YouTube videos. We have over 200 YouTube videos up on this subject. And then go ahead and do this. But the book will be helpful to you. And not only that, but to your to young people who need to know this information now. The last thing, become an affiliate. Go to ice10k.com, ice10k.com, and become an affiliate today. It's free. It takes about 15 seconds to sign up. And then when you share this information with others, they may be interested to know more. Then what you do is send them to the YouTube channel and then follow up with them in a couple of days. Once you follow up with them, then if they want to know more, then you fill out the referral card that is on ice10k.com. You fill out the referral information and put your name in. When you put your name and number in, we know that this referral is coded to you. When that person gets their savings and earnings report and when they become a client, all right, when they become a client, we will pay you $300. What? Yes, $300, and you didn't sell a thing. All you did was introduce somebody to the YouTube channel, and they wanted to know more, and you sent it in to us, and they became a client. You get $300. Send us a second one in the same month. Okay, a second client in the same month. Now that one is worth $400. The next one, $500. The next one, $600. And if you send us 5 in 1 month, we'll pay you $1,200 for the 5th one, for a total of $3,000. Anywhere from $300 to $3,000 a month or more, just for referring people to us. Thank you so much, everybody. Let's jump back into this thing. Do I have any more questions right now? Do I have any more questions? Listen, this whole thing is about questions this morning. Raise your hand, come to the stage, and ask your question. If you have a red ticket, that means you're not a member of our house yet. Go up to the top and click on P.I.L.L method. All right. Click on P.I.L.L method and become a member of our house. Okay. So that whenever we're open, whenever we're on stage, whenever we're talking, you can get notified. If you're watching us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, also, you can join us. You can like us. And in terms of YouTube, you can actually subscribe to us, okay? And click the notification bells wherever you are so that whenever we're live, you can know about it, or at least you can be notified to come back later and listen to the replay. All right, so I'm waiting. So we had very good information from Zoe. She had a great question. So are there any other questions? Because this whole day, this whole 2-hour session is about your questions. Bring your questions and type them in the comment section, or if you're watching us online, or type your question into the chat. Any question at all when it comes to finances, or if you're in Clubhouse, raise your hand and come to the stage. So folks, don't be shy. This is your opportunity to get your questions at. Maybe there was something that's been nagging you. Maybe there's something that you've always believed to be true, and you want to find out if it actually is true. All right. Ask that question. All right. Ask that question. Go ahead. Right now, take an opportunity to ask a question, because somebody, now they're not in the room right now, but they asked me, should they they talked about what is it? Where, yeah, consolidating your loans. They talked about consolidating their loans, taking their mortgage, getting a refinance, and consolidating their loans. And by consolidating their loans in the mortgage, they're saving about $1,000 a month in payments. But they were making their payments okay. They were paying their bills okay. But by refinancing and consolidating, they lowered their payments per month on their debt by $1,000. She says, Zoe Motley says, can you explain that, please? Okay, Zoe, I listen, let's get into that. So let's just say that we can excuse me, we have our $260,000. Okay, we have our $260,000, and let's say we paid this down over 7 years. Okay, paid it down over 7 years, and this is where we would be. Payment 84. We paid this loan down by $27,482.83, and we still owe. Oh, don't forget the fact that we have to pay $101,000 in interest to get there. Let's not forget that. All right. And look at this. We're now down to $232,000. All right. But we have because of that and market conditions, we now have about $50,000. We have about $50,000 in equity or more. Okay. Let's make it even number. Let's make it easier numbers. $100,000 in equity. We got about $100,000 in equity. And if we have $100,000 in equity, that means if we do a refinance and take cash out, that means we can take out about $80,000 if we wanted to. Let's just say we took out $25,000 of our equity to pay off. Let's say $50,000. We took $50,000 of the $80,000 we have available to take out. We took $50,000 out and paid off some high interest debt. Okay, our credit cards, maybe a car loan, maybe a couple of student loans. Maybe we took that $50,000 out and paid off a bunch of debt. And now, when you're looking at that, you're looking at the minimum payment on all of those debts. So if you pay them all off, you don't have all of those minimum payments anymore. You just have the one mortgage payment. And when you take a look at that and then do the subtraction, we had this much in payments every month. And now we only have this much in payments every month. Let's say it's $1,000 cheaper. So it feels a lot better. So do you understand the difference here when it comes to that? So we're going to take our $232,000 that we owe now. Okay, $232,000. We're going to duplicate the tab. We're going to put our $232,000 in here. $232,000. All right, that's our new loan. And let's say we can get that interest rate down to an even 5% now. Okay, an even 5%. All right, 5%. And I'm going to put in the exact number here. We're going to paste that. That's the exact number, 232,000. Now, when you copy, if you're going to copy and paste, you got to take that comma out. 232,517.17 is what you owe. Now, we're going to add another $50,000 to that. Okay. So let me put my calculator on the screen so that we can do this. We're going to put this over here. Okay. So we have 232,000. All right. 517. All right. 0.17 plus, okay, plus another $50,000 equals 282,517. Now, let's not forget the closing cost, which is going to be about $10,000. Okay, so now we're up to $292,000. So we're going to put that in here. We're going to put that in here. 292,000. Let's bring that back so I can see the rest of the numbers. 292,517.17. Okay. All right. 517.17. All right. 517.17. And guess what, folks? When we do that refi, all right, we got a new 30-year loan. So remember, our old payment was 1537.17. All right, and now our new payment is 1570. All right, so Debbie Brum says cannot see clearly. All right, you mean you can't visualize it? Oh, let me make it bigger. All right, I made the numbers bigger for you. How's that, Debbie? All right, Debbie Brum from YouTube says I can't see clearly. So does that help if I make the numbers bigger, Debbie? All right, let me know, yes or no, and let's see if I can do something else to fix it. If not, okay. So now here is what we have: 292,000. We've completed our refinance. Now we've paid some debt that $50,000 worth of other debt, but some of that debt was as high as 27%. Debbie says, you still can't see well. All right. I don't know. Does that happening for anybody else? I don't know, Debbie. Usually, all right, let me see here. I don't know. I don't know why you can't see it. I can't explain it. I think everybody else is able to see it. All right. Kurt, talk to me?
Yeah, I'm on YouTube. It looks clear.
It looks clear. Okay.
I just wonder maybe she's on a phone or something. I don't know.
Yeah, the screen's showing the numbers. All right. Is it?
Yeah, I mean, it looks clear.
It looks clear for everybody else, Debbie. I really can't help you there. All right. But I'll tell you what's going on. All right. We have 292,517. We just rolled in a bunch of debt into this thing, and now we got to pay that debt off. And remember, some of the debt was as high as 27%. We paid that debt off. It's gone. All right. And we rolled it into our mortgage, and our new payment is 1570.30 on our mortgage, where our old payment was 1537. So it's not that much more, but we paid off $50,000 worth of debt. Do you see what I'm talking about? So now we're thinking that we rolled into that, and some of that debt was as high as $27,000. But now we rolled it into our 5% mortgage, and we're feeling good because overall we're spending $1,000 less a month because we knocked out all that other debt. This is what's being sold. This is what you're being told. All right. And let me show you what's really happening behind the scenes. You are now paying this back, the $50,000 in debt that you rolled in, and the $10,000 in closing fees. We rolled that into the loan. So now you borrowed that as well. So now you're paying all of that back, and you're thinking it's at 5%. Let me tell you something. If we were just going to pay back the $10,000 first, okay, that we rolled in, look how much interest you're paying on that first $10,000. $1,218.82 a month interest on a $10,000 loan. If you're looking at the whole $60,000, you're paying $1,200 interest on that debt that you rolled into the mortgage. So remember, when you refinance this loan, remember what happened when you refinance this loan. Okay. You were down here, all right, at month where you owe $232,000. Okay. $232,000. So you have to pay back that $60,000 to get back to your original $232,000. Is everybody hearing me on this? Do you understand what I'm saying? You are down to $232,000. You rolled in 60 grand into the debt. Now you got to pay back that 60 grand to get back to your original 232,000 when you refinance the loan. And remember, you had 7 years in when you refinanced, and you've got a new 30-year loan, which means your mortgage now is a 37-year mortgage, not just a 30, because you already had 7 years in, and now you got a new 30-year loan. Now it's 37 years. Okay, that's number one. Now let's pay back that $60,000. Let's see what happens when you do. On the way to paying back the $60,000 to get back to your original $232,000, in the first year, you only pay back $3,000 of it. Look at this. $265 goes to principal. Look at all these interest payments. All right. So this is you paying back the first $60,000, and you're doing it at $260 a month down to $279 a month in the first year, which means when you add all that up, only $3,271 went to principal, paying back the 60 grand. Look how much interest you paid on $3,200 already. Isn't that something? In the second year, $6,700. Now you paid 30 grand interest on $6,000 of the money you rolled into the loan. After 3 years, $10,000. Listen, listen. I know it's hurting right now because some of you actually did this. So let's just go down to the $60,000 we rolled into this loan. It's going to take us to pay back that $60,000 we rolled into the loan, and to get back to where we were. All right, to get back to where we were on this. All right, $60,000. All right, so $60,000. Okay, $60,000. Pay off 60,000. 60 grand. Look at here. There it is. 60 grand. There it is. Right about there. Okay. $60,000. We're at $60,000 now. It takes 153 months. That's over 12 years. That's over 144 payments is 12 years. That's over 12 and a half years it takes to pay off the first 60 grand. And look at the interest you paid on that, $174,000 by rolling it into your mortgage. That is one of the biggest scams on the planet. If you borrow $60,000 and you pay back $60,000 in interest, that's 100% loan all day, isn't it? If you borrow $60,000 and you pay back double that, which would be $120,000, that would be a 200% interest rate on the $60,000 you rolled into the loan. If you pay back $180,000 in interest, that would be 300%. Folks, this is almost 180%. This is over this is almost 300%. Over 200% interest on this loan that you rolled into the mortgage. Don't you do it. If you have the P.I.L.L method, you can leave your loans the way they are. You don't have to consolidate them. We'll show you how to pay all of this off in about 7 years anyway. But by rolling it into your mortgage, it takes over 12 years just to pay back the $60,000. That's what's going on here, ladies and gentlemen. Why do that? Why do we want to do that? We don't want to do that. Listen, when we're paid down to here on this loan, okay, when we get paid down to here, when we get down to 60, where we're at, let's see, we were at, 84. Okay. 84. Okay. That's where we were. Okay. It took us to get back to there 200 and okay 257,000. What am I having here? What do I have in here? 257,000. All right. And on the mortgage. All right. Oh, I did the wrong thing. I put the wrong numbers in. I have to start over. Okay. So here's our original loan, 260,000. I said we had 7 years in. That's payment number 84. Oh, no, I had the right numbers in. 232,000. That's where we were. Okay. To get back to pay off that $60,000 we rolled in, it is going to be, so that would make us at 292,000. Okay. 292,000. Okay. I did do it wrong. So you guys need to call me out on this. Yeah. 292,000. All right. Plus another 10,000. All right. When we put another 10,000 on that, that's what would take us to 312,000. All right. So by paying that back, by paying that $60,000 off, it costs us about 174,000, even at the lower interest rate. Folks, we don't need to do that. All right. So does anybody else have any questions? Does this make sense to everybody? What happens when we roll money into our mortgage, thinking we're making ourselves better off, thinking we're borrowing that money at 5%, when really it is almost 300% when it comes to this particular mortgage? It's over 200% interest. We take the highest interest rate we had, which is what, 27%, and we put all that money into the mortgage and instantly turned it into almost 300% interest on the loan. Zoe Motley says, yes, don't do it. Folks, this is where you're getting the good information on these loans and how it's set up. Do I have anybody else that wants to come to the stage and ask a question about how all of this works? How does this work? Do you have any other questions about loans? Listen, this is going to be a question and answer period. We've been here almost an hour. All right. Coming up on 7:59. All right. Central time. All right. 7:59 Central time, almost an hour. And we've answered a couple of questions, but this is for just question and answers only. Questions and answers only. When the questions run out, we're going to end this show. So I want to be able to answer your questions. So put your questions in here. I'm looking in. Let's see. It says, Zoe says, I do have another question. Is the snowball a good method? Is the snowball method good to start chopping off debt? Okay, that's what she says. She says, is a snowball method a good method to start chopping off debt? Let's take a look at that. Okay, the snowball method. The snowball method has to do with, the average family has 13 different debts. Okay, I'm writing some notes down here. The average family has 13 different debts. Okay, it could have a mortgage, a couple of, they have, let's say they have 5 or 6 student loans each. All right, the parents have 5 or 6 student loans each. And they have a couple of cars, and they have 2 or 3 credit cards each. So the average is going to be about 13 different debts. Okay. She says, sounds right for me. So now some of those debts. So the snowball method means we're going to pick the smallest one. And then we're going to take whatever extra money we want to put with that smallest one and pay that off. All right. So let me give you an example of what we're talking about here. Maybe I can pull up my program and put that on the screen to help you to understand that. Okay, so let me do that. Let me pull up my program on the screen. Good morning, Steve. How are you doing, sir? Good to see you here. All right. And let me see here. We're going to pull up the demo, put that on the screen, and I'm going to show you what happens when we focus on the debt snowball. Remember, when you have the debt snowball, and you're focusing on the smallest one and you're paying that off, your minimum payment is small. That also means that your interest cost on that one is small. So you're paying off that loan and you feel good about it, but that means your total focus was on that small one and you're making minimum payments on everything else. On everything else, you have larger interest payments. And in the snowball method taught by Mr. Ramsey, your mortgage is last. Now you're paying off some loans that have small interest payments, like $20 a month, maybe $50 a month. Then you move on to $70 a month, maybe $100 a month, maybe $200 a month. But if you have this mortgage, you're starting out this mortgage already on $260,000 at 5.875. You're already starting out at $1,200 a month interest. And the debt snowball says, leave this one till last while you're paying off those tiny ones. And you're racking up big money on this every year. So let's say it takes you 5 years to pay off all those other debts. Well, look what happens after 5 years on this loan. It already cost you $73,000 in interest to ignore this while you're paying off loans that cost you way less. All right. So let's take a look at that. So we're going to bring our program over here, and let me reset it. Let me do the reset on this account. Reset it, and I'll bring the program over so you guys can see it. There we go. Thank you, Zoe, for your good questions this morning. All right. Thank you so very much. So we're talking about the debt snowball, and we're bringing this over, and we're going to take a look at John and Rebecca Jones' program. All right. And they have years to pay off. All right. And the payoff date. Payoff date. There we go. So they owe, here's what they owe. They owe $25,000 on their auto loan. They owe $2,000 on the Visa at 21%. And they have a $200,000 mortgage at 6%. Okay. So this is what they're doing. So if they were to do the debt snowball, then the program says that snowball is that we would start with the $2,000 Visa. And let's just say the minimum, we're looking at the minimum payment on the $2,000 Visa is $50.88 a month. So we would figure out how much extra money we would want to put with that $50.88 a month so that we can pay off the Visa faster. All right. So let's just say we put some money with that and pay that off faster. Once we pay that off, then we have the $50.88 plus the money we put with that. And then the next one we would attack is the auto loan. All right. So we would put, let's say we put an extra $200 with this. So that means we're putting $250.88 on this every month. So once that's done, we take our $250. All right. We're not paying it on the Visa anymore. And then we're paying over $700 a month on the auto loan now. Okay. Over $700 a month on the auto loan. We're paying that off. All right. Let's say we can pay that off in 2 years instead of the 5 years that's on here. All right. Let me see here. We're going to take a look at and edit that and say, oh yeah, it's 60 months. It's a 60-month loan, which is 5 years. So let's just say we can pay it off in 2. You feel good if you have a loan for 5 years, but you can pay it off in 2. Don't you feel good about that? All right. But now we pay that off. Now we have over $700 available that we can put on the mortgage payment, which is $1,199.10. So plus another $700. So we can start attacking the mortgage and take care of that. All right. So that's how the snowball would work. All right. There we go. So now let's take a look at what happens when we do that, especially if we do it in this program. So if we go down and tell the program, I paid off, we're going to go over to preferences. I paid off the credit card. Now I'm going to take my extra money and put it on the car loan and pay it off. The program, if you click on program focus settings on here, it's at automatic. We have a cloud-based AI, artificially intelligent computing system that tells us exactly what to pay and when. Exactly what to pay and when. It's set to automatic right now. Okay. So I just saw somebody else come in and ask Berna to come to the stage, because Berna, we're just doing question and answer today. So if you have a question, all right, if you have a question, come up and ask a question. All right. So we're going to invite you to speak. All right. And Steve wants to come up, and we're going to invite him to speak. Maybe you have a question as well. So come on up. Let's finish this out, and then I'll talk to you guys. All right. So here's what it says in our program. It says when the focus is set to automatic, the program will automatically optimize the order you pay off the debt to become debt-free. You may change the focus setting, however. This could have a negative impact on your overall results. So the debt snowball says if you pay off the credit card, the next one you should attack is the auto loan. All right. Let me show you what happens if we tell our program we don't want automatic. We want to use the debt snowball instead. And we're going to click the drop down and tell the program to focus on the auto loan until the auto loan is paid off. Right now, here's what you need to see. We're going to be able to pay off the 30-year loan, the mortgage, and the car loan, and the credit card. Everything is going to be gone in about 7.7 years. Done, because we're saving $179,592 in interest. We know that up front. When we plug it into this program, you know everything. You even know the month, day, and year you're going to be debt free. It's right there on the screen. So why does it matter? Why does it matter what sequence we pay them off in? Here's why. I'm going to change this. Watch your 7.7 years and watch your $179,592. We're going to pay this car off 2 years early by putting that extra money on the car. We're going to pay it off in 3 years instead of 5 years. I need you to watch what happens when we tell the program to focus on the car loan exclusively. It's going to recalculate. We're at 7.8 years now. And instead of saving $179,000 in interest, we're saving $177,000 in interest. We're actually paying $2,000 more in interest to pay the car off early by focusing only on the car by using the debt snowball. Look at that. Okay. So, all right. Did you see that, Zoe? Did you see that? Now, would you like to see why it's going to cost us more money in interest and take us longer to pay off everything if we use the debt snowball? Would you like to see that? Now I'm going to change this back. I'm going to change it. See, with our program, you can play around with how you attack the debt, see if you can make it better. But if you can't, you can just put it back on automatic and everything goes back the way it was. Look at that. 7.7 and saving 179,000. Okay. She says, yes, sitting here with my mouth open. All right. All right, Zoe. Let me tell you why. And when I show it to you, it's going to be so clear. You're wondering why Dave Ramsey teaches the debt snowball when I show you this, because it's going to be so clear. When I look at the amortization schedule on the auto loan, I'm going to open it up and I need to make it bigger so you can see these numbers. So we're going to zoom in here. Let's zoom in just a little bit more. Okay. There we go. Here's what's happening. The interest payment on the car loan is $83.33. And if we want to eliminate $83.33 in interest, all we have to do is prepay the $377.08 before it's due. Okay, we make a regular car payment, and then we put an extra $377.08 on top of the car payment, and we can get rid of one interest payment. That's what it costs to get rid of one whole interest payment, is to prepay $377. Okay, but we're paying off the car early. And listen, if we can knock out these $80 interest payments, that's no small stuff. I mean, that's significant. We're saving a lot of money in interest, and we're paying the car off 2 years early, which is a good thing, maybe. While we're paying $200 payments on this car, well, I'm sorry, we're paying the car off 2 years early by focusing totally on the car. That means 2 years we're ignoring the mortgage. 2 years we're ignoring the mortgage. Let's take a look at that. So we're going to go back to accounts. We're going to scroll down to the mortgage. Click on it. Oh, that's the credit card. Click on the mortgage and look at the interest cost on the mortgage. Okay. So, I clicked the wrong thing. All right, let me go back. All right, let me click on the mortgage here. And there it is, history. And now we're going to take a look at the mortgage numbers. Look at this, $1,000. $1,000 interest payments. That's where it starts on this mortgage. And look what it costs to get rid of $1,000. I just prepay it like $199 or $200, and I can get rid of like $1,000 in interest. Why should I focus totally on the car when it starts out at $83 a month, and every interest payment after that goes down from $83? But I'm totally focused on the car for the next 2 years while I'm paying $1,000 interest on this mortgage. So let me show you what happens over 2 years while you're ignoring the mortgage. All right. So let's bring this up. Okay. We're going to bring up another $200,000 at 6% on that mortgage using the debt snowball now. Watch this. $199.10 goes to principal. $1,000 goes to interest. Look at that. Look at all these interest payments. I'm going to go down to 24 payments. That's 2 years. We are focusing on paying off the car. Okay. Paying off the car. And look at the interest payments. 2 years. While we're paying off the car, this is what we're doing on our mortgage. We only pay the mortgage down by $5,000, but look at the interest we pay on the mortgage, $23,000. $23,000 in interest on the mortgage while we're trying to pay off the car. I want to show you something. Let's go back. The car payment. How much do we owe on the car? $25,000. While we're trying to pay off a $25,000 car. Oh, Lord have mercy. How did we get into this? We're going to pay the bank $23,700 in interest by ignoring the mortgage while we're trying to pay off the car. Zoe, does the debt snowball make financial sense to you now? She also puts in here, now, it's the prepaid $377 every month, or does the P.I.L.L calculator show you? Yeah, it shows you when to add the money. The P.I.L.L method calculator tells you when to put money on and how much. Okay, that's what we're talking about, folks. Zoe, based on what you just learned today, does the debt snowball make financial sense? Steve Mack says no. Zoe says not at all. That is insane. Why is Dave Ramsey teaching it? Because he says you get the good feelings from the small wins. You get the good feelings from the small wins. In my book, I asked the question, how much do you want to pay for your good feelings? How much do you want to pay for your good feelings? In this case, you're going to pay $23,000 in interest on a loan by ignoring it while you're trying to pay off a $25,000 car. Makes no sense at all, ladies and gentlemen. Here are the numbers. Here are the numbers. Okay. So Zoe says, thank you so much. I was really looking into that. So let me go back to the stage here. We got some new people on the stage. I brought Berna up. Miss Berna, can you speak to us this morning? How are you doing? Miss Berna, are you there? She's probably having to walk way across the room. All right. Click on the microphone and say hi. Miss Berna, are you available to speak to us this morning? All right. Well, if you are, come back. Steve, are you available?
Yes, sir. I'm in the building.
All right, you're in the building. So, do you have a question for us this morning? Because ICE is answering all your financial questions this morning. Do you have one?
No, I had one from the other day though.
Okay.
When you was briefly discussing the investor's mindset.
Yes.
So you were reverse engineering, and I think if you took that approach, then people will look at it differently. So now you have the mindset of the investor. Now, if you buy the mortgage, this is how much you will win. This is how much you will get. So now when you look at that, now you see how much you done lost on the flip side because they bought your mortgage from the bank.
Right. So that's what we're talking about, man. You've got to know what your numbers are. You've got to know what your numbers are. You got to know how much interest you're paying each month. Folks, you have a right to know this information. It has been hidden from us for too long. If you have a red ticket, that means you're not a member of this house. Go up to the top, click on P.I.L.L method, and become a member of the house. Plus, follow me as your moderator. So anywhere that I am, you will be able to see where we are. And if I'm on somebody else's stage, then you can come in and hear what we're saying over there. But go ahead and join the house. All right. And follow me. And then you're going to get this kind of information. So let me see. Brian Barton says, how do you input travel and just weekend spending into the P.I.L.L method? How do you put travel and just weekend spending into the P.I.L.L method? So Brian, what we have on our screen, go over to YouTube and you'll be able to see this. And I can show you how we can do this. This is one thing that we're doing here. I already have some of that in here. Okay. So let's go back to the program. All right. We're going to go back to the program and pull that up. All right. Back to the program here. All right. So here's what we have. All right. Let me take this back down to where we can see it. Okay. And take that out. All right. So we're going to take this down to where we can see it. John and Rebecca Jones have their monthly budget in here. They also have a certain amount of money that they want to spend on themselves each month. Okay. Let me show you what they have in here. It's called the unitemized budget, which means that's money that they have that when it comes up, they can spend any way they choose. So their unitemized budget is $1,300. So this is their fund budget. This is their travel budget. So what we do, Brian, is we tell the program how much we want to spend each month, even on ourselves. This is our lifestyle budget or our travel budget or our family just having some fun budget. Okay. But once that $1,300 is gone, they're done. Does that make sense? So let me show you what happens here. They can spend $1,300 a month and still get out of debt in 7.7 years. Watch this when we take a look at the budget. When it's all said and done, they have making about $5,000 every month. They're spending $3,700 a month. They have about $1,300 a month left over that's going into the bank account. But that $1,300 a month is part of their budget. Okay, the $3,760. So if they spend that every single month, they're going to get out of debt in 7.7 years. But Brian, what happens? See, here's what happens when you give yourself a budget to have some fun. Here's what happens when you give yourself a budget. I don't know why. I've seen it happen over the last 18 years. When families do this, they very rarely spend all of that money on themselves. Whatever they put into the budget for themselves, they rarely spend all of it. Let me show you what happens if after some months they're saying, you know what? We're not spending all $1,300, but the program is counting that $1,300 a month against you so that you can get out of debt in 7.7 years. What if they're averaging not $1,300 a month, but only spending $1,000 a month? I need to show you what happens when we change that over. It goes from 7.7 years and saving $179,000 in interest. So let's say we're spending $1,000 instead of $1,300, because that's kind of where they're landing on average. So we change that number. Look what the program wants to do now. 7.7 years. Now they're going to be out of debt in 6.9 years, almost a year earlier. And now we're saving $186,000 in interest. Did you see that? Did you see that, Brian Barton? So you see what we're doing there? We can put in, you want to put in your family's fund budget into the program. Let's stop doing what the experts are telling us. And here's what happens. When you put yourself on a debt diet, that means I am going to take all of my money. We're not going to go anywhere. We're not going to do anything. We're going to drive a 30-year-old car. We're going to eat beans and rice 7 days a week. We're going to cut up our credit cards. We're not going to do anything until the debt is paid off. Okay? When you do that, here's what happens. When you put yourself on that kind of diet, let me put it to you another way. I'm trying to lose weight. But while I'm trying to lose weight, I'm hungry all the time. When I'm trying to lose weight, I'm doing it in a way that I'm hungry all the time. Let me ask you folks, will I lose any weight at all if I'm hungry all the time? Will I lose any weight at all if I put myself on such a diet where I'm hungry all the time? You tell me. You know I won't. I may be able to do it a day, maybe 2 days, maybe a week, maybe even 2 weeks. But I'm just going to get tired of that and I'm just going to binge. And any weight that I lost, I'm going to gain right back. If you put yourself on a debt diet like this, and you keep telling your family, we can't do this, we can't do this, we can't go there, we can't afford it, we got to pay back the debt. Every now and then you're going to get to that point where we're just working to pay the bills and we're sick of it. You're going to end up spending a lot more money when you go out and splurge. All you have to do to avoid that, folks, is give yourself some money to spend. Give yourself some money to spend. Watch how well that works. Psychologically, it works extremely well when you have some money to spend, and most likely, after 2 or 3 months or so, the feeling of needing to spend goes away because you're not being told you can't. And you will end up spending less because you have the money that you could spend. And then that money is used to pay down the debt. So Zoe says something here. What does she says? No, because your body is going to retain the fat in the food as well, because now it's in survival mode. Look at this. It's going to listen. You can be in survival mode in your body, and you can be in survival mode in your finances too. Okay? You're going to hang on to that debt. You're going to hang on to the debt because your body's going to go into survival mode and says, you know what? We got to spend some money here. And you overspend when you do that. Everything we've been learning about how to manage this debt is absolutely backwards. You deserve to know the truth. You deserve to know how it actually works, how it really works, so that you can save money and you can save time. Any other questions before we get out of here, folks? We've been here an hour and a half, almost coming up on an hour and a half. Do you have any other questions? Because I don't want to keep you longer than you want to be here. Do I have any other questions here? Thank you for that, Zoe. That's exactly right. Anybody else got a question? Because if not, we can go. We've been here an hour and a half. We've answered some really good questions. I want to thank you. Tell me what you guys think of Finance Fridays. Should we continue this? Put it in the chat. Should we continue Finance Fridays where we do only answering questions from the audience?
Yes, we should. Good morning. I was late to come in again. I was getting ready for the day.
Well, thank you, Miss Berna. Thank you. All right. So do you have a question for us before we get out of here?
Actually, one little question.
Yeah.
As you know, I am one of your newest client. This is my second month.
Yes.
Can you believe that?
Yeah. Oh, man.
And then, so for now I am understanding better as I use the program, and I see, how program works. But for example, personal line of credit, right?
Yes.
Not all of them, but most of them, they are reasonable interest rate compared to credit cards.
Gotcha.
So how when program is calculating more payment into my personal line of credit balance instead of mortgage. So is it also like different months of the day, right? Other than my due date, it is asking me to, put this money, here. And I do. I just follow exactly the same date when they suggested how much they want me to pay there. So is it also like reading the interest rate, upcoming like future months, how much we are saving on that? I know it may not.
Listen. I think I understand the question. Okay. Here's what you tell me if I'm wrong. Right now, so you're saying that the program is concentrating on paying off debt that has a smaller interest cost and ignoring that has a larger interest cost. Is that what I'm hearing?
I don't think it's ignoring.
Yeah.
Why it is directing me to pay personal line of credit first.
Right. Okay. Here's why. Because the program is looking long term. Here's the long term. It's also looking at, now here's the algorithm is much more complicated than people think. It's focusing there because it's also looking at what your minimum payment is. Okay. So on some of these loans, the minimum payment may be large enough so that if we pay that loan off, okay, I'm losing money by focusing on that loan right now. I'm losing a little bit of interest by focusing on paying off something that has a smaller interest cost. But I have enough time left. So that when I acquire that minimum payment and I can move it to something else that may be a higher interest cost later, and I'll make it up over time. Okay, so here's a good example of that, because listen, I used to love to watch Tiger Woods play golf. And sometimes when I'm watching him play golf and he ends up on Saturday 5 shots back. Okay. All right. He's 5 shots back of the leader. And it's Sunday. Coming up Sunday, Tiger's got his red shirt on. And he says, most people are thinking that Tiger has to make up 5 shots to catch the leader. No, he doesn't. He does not. Here's why. Because if the leader loses 3 shots, okay, let's say they get 3 bogeys. Now Tiger only has to make up 2 shots. He only has to make up 2 strokes, and that to tie, and then another birdie to be in the lead. Do you see what I'm saying? He doesn't have to do 5 or 6. He only has to do 2 or 3 if the other person loses 3. So when you're paying off your debt, so here's what the program is doing. You may be losing right now, but when I get that money back, I'm going to start winning again. So overall, I'm going to end up better. The program is looking at long-term how you're going to be better, not necessarily how you're going to be better in the short term. It's looking at when you're going to be totally out of debt. And by focusing here now, it's actually going to put us in a better position. What do you say, Berna?
I agree. Now, like Tiger Golf example,
Yes.
program is looking as, long-term strategically.
Yes.
What we have here, how much mortgage balance, how much, but all my bills and everything else. Now, like you said, when I play with the numbers, because, my extra income, sometimes goes up and down.
Right.
When I have little bit even extra, it just, makes that year of how many years after I will be debt free, it is showing me differently. Like it is much shorter. I cannot believe like even $100 a month makes a 2 years difference.
Wow.
And this is what I also like about the program.
Yeah.
We all have some little leftover, right? Little or much.
Yes.
Yeah. And I understand sometimes like our groceries can be up and down, gas, whatever we pay, for our bills. But it is amazed me. You see how much money you left over instead of spending that money. As you know, spending is fun and easy.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So instead of spending that money, program actually making me more focused on, okay, you have $400 extra here from this paycheck, put it here.
Yes.
Like paid off. I think it's just better for us to seeing our budget and numbers in front of us.
Wow. 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 That is so good. Berna, I'm talking about, listen, I can talk until I'm blue in the face about what it is that we do. But when people come on that actually see the program and actually start using it, and some of you are even a little skeptical at first, can the program really do all of this until you start actually using it? Oh my goodness. Listen, folks, we have some people in here saying, yes, keep Finance Fridays going. So we're going to do it next week. We're going to do Finance Fridays again next week. And we're going to keep it going. And sometimes we're going to be doing, because when we go on vacation, we're going to be doing some reruns. Okay. I'm just letting you know it's vacation time. We've got over 200 shows up. We're going to be doing some reruns. But when we do live on Fridays, we're going to do Finance Fridays and we're going to answer questions. How about that? So Joshua Thompson watching us online says, absolutely. Kamar Fender watching us on YouTube says, yes, keep it. And says, continue with Finance Fridays. She's watching us on YouTube. So listen, folks, that's what's going on. And Zoe Motley says, wow, I can't wait. Congrats. Congrats on that, Berna. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, that is what's happening. And Zoe says she can't wait to see how this is going to work for her. Just listen, you're inspiring people. You're inspiring people. Oh my goodness. Listen, everybody, I want to thank all of you for being here for our first installment of Finance Fridays. Okay. This is volume 1. All right. Volume 1. So we're the next time we do it will be volume 2. And I think we're going to like it. So start spreading the word. ICE is answering your financial questions. Interest Cancellation Expert is answering your questions. So final thing, folks, final thing. All right. Get your savings and earnings report today. Get a savings and earnings report. All right. Zoe is going to fill out her stuff, getting a savings and earnings report. Berna already did it. And we had oh my gosh, earlier we had, let me see, man, my memory is failing me, but we had somebody that on our program came in, says, and who loves the program as well, a new person on the program. And when people talk about it, they get to see all the benefits. Okay. They get to see all the benefits that we're providing that no one else on the planet is providing. Not only are we providing superior technology, but superior financial education, going against all the conventions that we've been taught. And we're showing you the numbers as to why they don't work for you. Okay. They're not efficient. They cost you way too much money in interest to run them. So let's be more efficient with our money. Get a savings and earnings report today. Also, become an affiliate. Become a P.I.L.L Method affiliate. Sign up today and start sharing this information with everybody and point them to the YouTube channel. And tell your family and friends about the YouTube channel as well. All right. And get my book. Start learning this information, teaching it to young people. Teach it to yourself, teach it to young people, watch a ton of these videos, and become part of the P.I.L.L Method family. Oh, I want to thank everybody for showing up today. And you just warmed my heart with your questions. I love answering these questions. I wake up in the morning sometimes and I'm just overwhelmed with the idea of how much we don't know about these finances and how much money banks and investors are making off of us because we don't understand how it works. We are totally believing and understanding something else that's allowing us to continue to do this, so that we're blind to what's really happening. We're blind to what's really happening. All right. So Zoe says she's got hers already talked to your amazing team last week. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay. So listen, we're going to be talking soon, Zoe. All right. We're going to be talking soon. Excellent. She's got her savings and earnings report already. So I'm going to go take a look at it. All right. And then we're going to set up an appointment to talk. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here. We're going to hear from Dr. Eric Thomas today. Because he found out about the P.I.L.L method. And when he found out about the P.I.L.L method, one of the things that inspired him is that even though he's the #1 motivational speaker on the planet, Dr. Eric Thomas, E.T., the hip hop preacher, his wife was still concerned. How long are you going to be making this kind of money? He says, well, shoot, I'm going to be making it forever. She said, yeah, but what happens when you're not? What happens if you don't? Let's go ahead and knock out this mortgage. So he found out about the P.I.L.L method. And he says he wanted to do it in a more efficient manner, saving as much interest as he possibly could and pay that mortgage off early. We're going to hear from him as we go away today. But thank you, everyone who showed up online. Thank you, everyone who showed up on Clubhouse. All right. And we're going to be back here on Sunday. Actually, we're going to be in the mortgage syndicate on Sunday. All right. And we're going to be talking to the investors. All right. And somebody brought up prepayment penalties. Okay. I'm going to tell you why I like prepayment penalties. What? You mean you want to be penalized for paying off the loan early? No, not necessarily, but I want to show you why I like them. Because they don't work like you think they work. I'm going to tell you the truth about prepayment penalties come this Sunday. So look for our messages on YouTube. Look for our messages on Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, so that you can confirm that you're going to be there on Sunday, or at least watch the replays. And we're going to have it up on Clubhouse as well. Do I have any other questions or comments?
Don, everyone, I wish happy Memorial Day weekend. I think this is the weekend for Memorial Day. And thank you for allowing me to be part of your program. I think finances are really important now and future. As I always say, we don't make money easily, right? Why we have to pay more interest to someone else. Exactly.
Thank you, folks, for a Memorial. We're going to be on Memorial Day weekend, and because with family obligations, I just may be here by myself I haven't actually talked to Kurt about this. He may be with his family in another city, another state. All right. But listen, I want to thank everybody and also wish you happy Memorial Day weekend as well. And for all of our vets, and thank you for your service as well. Let's hear from Dr. Eric Thomas as we say goodbye today. And I'll see you back here on Sunday talking about the investors and learning about these prepayment penalties. See ya.
Listen to me, y'all. But one of his mentees took us through one of their programs, and I paid off my mortgage. But guess what happened? My marriage went to a whole nother level. And you know why? Because my wife is a security freak. And even when I blew up, my wife would be like, oh, you blew up, but how long is you gonna keep making this kind of money? I was like, I don't know, forever. She's like, you sure? Because I'm gonna keep my license as a nurse just in case you don't. So when I paid the house off, my boy was like, you ain't gotta do that, you can do this. But when I paid the house off using that program, it took the stress level all the way down for my wife because we no longer had a mortgage. Does that make sense? That thing that was coming every month, that was getting on her nerves, we didn't have that no more. And so she was at rest.